much needed rest, but we are going to go ahead and get started. So where am I? Okay, if I point here, it points this way, good to know. I'm gonna have the presentation up right here while I talk about some real life concepts. But today we're talking about building an entrepreneurial mindset in corporate. First off, who am I? Why am I qualified to even talk about this? Why am I even qualified to have this conversation? Why should I listen to you, Tariq Ali Cayne? Well, first, let's just start with that. My name is Tariq Ali Cayne. I am the co-founder and CEO of our company, Pitch Play Co. You see the logo here. I always love our business cards because our other co-founder and chief creative officer who's in the chat, Kelly Rose Cayne, my wife, she designed everything that you see, and I love bragging about it. And I worked in corporate for 6+ years, and I've helped consult corporations for 4+ years. And luckily, I grew up in this technology age where I had to learn at an accelerated rate in order to keep up with the pace of how technology is moving. I recently started Pitch Play Co. with Kelly Rose Cayne. We passed our year anniversary. Let me tell you, that 1 year, someone told me an entrepreneurial year is like a dog year for corporate. So 7 years in corporate, you're going to learn everything on your own simply because you don't have your army, you don't have your resources, you don't have a name behind you. You're just you, and you're having to build your brand. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to tell you things that I've learned. I might make this a series because as I was making the deck, I realized, oh my goodness, there's so many things I could talk about. And year after year after year after year, the more I grow into this, the more people will truly understand the concepts that I'm bringing up because they'll see that we have survived not just 1 year, but multiple years. So I'm pointing here. So we're going to have the presentation up here. Let's remove the logo for a second, and then let's go straight into our presentation, which I'm going to have here. This is how we're going to have to do it for now, guys. If this isn't like the best method, we'll just get better at it later. Not a problem. But like I said, today, or what we're discussing, is building an entrepreneurial mindset in corporate. Man, if I had this mindset while I was working at my last company, VMware, doing the things that I was doing, I'm telling you, I would have took my career to an entirely different level. I mean, I already was very successful there. I was promoted every year. I was making 6 figures by the time that I was 28 years old. I grew up in College Park, Georgia, so I'm not saying this like a nepotism baby. I'm letting you know, like, I worked my way from the bottom, and I worked my way all the way up to a level that 95% of Americans don't make it to. Now, this is just statistics. 95% of our country is below 6 figures. So for me to get there at 28 and for me to learn all of these things, I was building these kind of habits, but I didn't realize how important it was to maintain these habits. As you grow up in corporate, as you continue to move along, you kind of become complacent. You kind of become comfortable. When you got money coming in every 2 weeks, good or bad, regardless of your performance. If it's good performance, bad performance, you got the same paycheck every 2 weeks. You start to lose a lot of the things that you had to work hard for, especially if you come from the bottom. You had to work hard for all those things just to make it to the level that you're at. And you start to lose some of these concepts. But I'm here to bring it back for you and let you know that you can have those concepts while in corporate. I read this quote, and I'm going to put the names of the authors probably in our recap sessions. I don't want to butcher their names live on Twitch. I'd be so embarrassed rewatching this, but she mentioned that employees wait for the right time. Entrepreneurs make the most of current opportunities. That is the realest statement. I'm telling you, when you're out on your own and you no longer have a company behind your back, I no longer have VMware to my name. Now it's just myself when I'm speaking to people. It's just me. And I'm telling you, you have to start over. Everything that you work for is great, but now you have to start over and start to build everything that you worked hard for. And you don't have any time to waste on making the most of current opportunities. When I was working in corporate, I could chill for a month, 2 months, 3 months before I even started to do something. I used to tell my team, because I used to manage people in Atlanta, Costa Rica, India, Bulgaria, I used to tell my team, hey, listen, you guys need a hobby. You need a hobby. You need something that separates you from the company. Because if you're just waiting for the company to provide purpose for you, that's going to be detrimental to your mental health, detrimental to your personal well-being. So what I did was I started to make a YouTube channel. And I actually just checked. I've been on YouTube now for a little over 3 years. I've been pretty consistent at making these videos. And outside, and when I left the company, I still have my YouTube channel. I still have that resource. So it wasn't the company giving me purpose. I still was doing things. Having a hobby is very important. Don't wait for the right time. Just go ahead and go. So that actually comes up to, okay, we're talking about being an entrepreneur and I left corporate. What exactly is that? Let's say I know absolutely nothing. Let's say I have no idea what an entrepreneur is. Can you please explain that to me? An entrepreneur is someone who is, as you see on the, or where am I pointing at? As you see on the screen here, someone who is operating that business, taking on those risks, and offering up their own financial resources. Very scary stuff, maybe the exact opposite of corporate, right? When you screw up in a company, the company screws up. When you go to McDonald's, if you go to McDonald's, and you get bad service, if and when you get bad service, you are not going to blame that particular employee. You're going to blame that company. That particular employee is not using their money to make the food to provide you the customer service, right? So they're comfortable. They realize this isn't my money. I'm just here to collect the check and go home. Now you're taking the exact opposite of that, and you are now the one people are going to remember. You are now the one you're spending your money on providing that service. You are at the forefront of this giant risk. That's what starting your own business is, a giant risk, and you are putting yourself all the way out there. That's an entrepreneur. And I'm not saying if and when you get bad service from McDonald's specifically, that was an example, but any place, if and when you get bad service, you are not going to think about that employee, you're going to think about that company. When you leave those reviews, if you leave a 1 star, it doesn't impact that employee as much as it impacts that company. Straight up. So an entrepreneur, you're putting yourself all the way out there. That's what an entrepreneur is. Here are 3 major concepts. I was speaking to a few potential clients at an event called Blackest Tech 2023. And they asked me, they said, hey, yo, do you teach these concepts? I said, no, but I will teach these concepts. You know, I will go over it. So shout out to them because I remembered them when I was making this deck. But here are 3 important concepts. An entrepreneur or anyone needs to focus on 3 things specifically. 1, their money. Dr. Miles Monroe said, if you mismanage something, you will lose it. Anything you mismanage, you will lose. Money obviously provides you resources such as your house, such as your clothes, such as your food. Money is obviously extremely important, but think about how much money you probably waste when you have money coming in every single two bi-weekly periods. When I was making over 6 figures, at one point, I was bringing in $3,000 every 2 weeks. $3,000 every 2 weeks. You pay your mortgage, you pay your bills, and in the next 2 weeks you got $3,000. A lot of people over 6 figures have that luxury. What do you think I was spending my money on when I was younger and dumb? I was BSing around a lot. When you leave a 9 to 5 and you're making that kind of money, and you go to a 24/7 and you're making $0 an hour, you realize how much money you've probably been mismanaging. At least that was the lesson for me. While you're in corporate, it is a very, very important concept that you start learning how to manage that money. Because if you get let go, if you get laid off, if anything happens, major life events, you want to make sure that you're being taken care of. I have this book. It's called The Path of the Freelancer. Let me see. Yes. It's called The Path of the Freelancer. This author talks about having money in his reserves. He called it his reservoir. He had 3 reservoirs. He had one that he would fill up immediately. That one always needed to be filled up, so it's amount of savings. Once that one gets filled up, he pours it into his next bit of savings where he gets to a certain amount and is so on until his 3rd reservoir. That is extremely important practice that you can take right now. You can easily put a percentage of your money, if you have that luxury, and it doesn't have to be a major percentage. A percentage is still a percentage. 1% each day, growing 1% each day matters. Saving 1% of your money over a significant period of time matters. Never think that it doesn't. So manage your money. Second is your reputation. Oh my goodness, your reputation matters so much. Calling myself CEO was a major step in me embracing my entrepreneurship. Straight up. The moment I started going by CEO, the moment I started going by the leader that I am, the entrepreneur that I am, the moment I started to embrace that was the moment I started getting invited to events, being requested to speak at engagements, leading team buildings, getting partnership deals. We had investors reach out to us. We only been in business for under a year, and their portfolio is for $500,000 for these type of platforms that we're building. And where I'm not in a position to be acquired or ask for an investment right now, unless I find the right partner, that all happened through my reputation getting built. When I was in corporate, I was also building these reputations not only with my own organization, but other organizations. Networking while you're in corporate is so important. You work in one department. Let's say you're at a major company. VMware, for example. There were so many departments and so many people. Even though my reputation was good in my circle, there were still so many more organizations and people that I could have reached out to just to figure out, hey, what is it that you guys are doing? Do you think that this side of the business that I'm doing can help you out? That would build your reputation. I got promoted every single year. That was not by staying in my little corner. That was by reaching out to stakeholders, reaching out to partners, reaching out to managers. I was building my reputation. Everything that you do goes towards your reputation. Listen, y'all, I play basketball. And, it gets chippy in basketball. I have to remember, I'm CEO now. I'm a co-founder now. I can't be BSing around, getting loud and getting immature out here. I can't do that. That goes towards your reputation. So now I want you to think about these two concepts. Someone with a lot of money and the worst reputation can make anything happen. They got a lot of money. They'll just throw money at it. Someone with no money and the best reputation can also make anything happen. Because if you got the best reputation, you probably know good people with money. Or you can get to know good people with money and build your network easily. I'm starting to be a benefactor of knowing great people just for my reputation alone. But the one thing both of those people have, or the one thing both of those concepts are heavily relying on, is this third concept, which is your time. Your time matters. Everyone breathing, everyone who is alive has the exact same amount of time in a day. No one has more time than the next person within that day, if they are breathing and if they are alive. So what that means is your company is asking you to work 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever the case is. And you're probably waking up, let's say 8, getting ready, driving in traffic if you got to go to traffic. If you work from home and you work 9 to 5, you probably get up at 8:50, brushing your teeth and then logging on your computer and getting another hour of sleeping. I know the deal. Don't play. I know. I've been there. But now you're driving back when you get off work. And then you're probably just like hanging out, not doing much, right? Anything you mismanage, you'll lose. If you mismanage the time in a day, you will lose it. You'll wake up going, oh man, how am I 60? How am I 70? What happened? It's all about how you manage your time. I didn't understand this concept until I started my own business. When I started my own business, then I realized, I got it. I have to treat my time like I treat my money, like I treat my reputation. That's extremely important. Extremely important. Anything you'll mismanage, you'll lose. But don't worry, I got more like time management concepts that will be helpful. But those are the three very important concepts I need you to wrap your head around as we go on to these next couple slides. So, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to have vision. Straight up, you got to have vision. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Jobs. It was played, Steve Jobs was played by the actor Ashton Kutcher. One of my favorite movies. I don't know why I love that movie so much, but I love that movie. I love the passion of understanding, hey, I got this thing in my head, and even though no one else can see it, I have this vision and I want it to come to light. We all are accustomed to the iPhone today, but trust me when I say when Steve Jobs was getting this thing started, no one was super happy about Apple products like we are now. It took years, almost decades actually, for Steve Jobs to get to this little phone that he's holding right here in this picture. Where am I pointing at? Yeah, get to this little photo that he's holding, picture that he's holding. Phone that he's holding. And that took vision. Again, I will quote where I got these quotes from, but I read this article on LinkedIn where she is describing the importance of having said vision. She's describing the importance of why every entrepreneur needs that, and you have to have that. Now, when you have vision, like Steve Jobs, and you're working out of your garage, and no one's supporting you, and you barely have any money, you barely have anything going for you, that means you're doing something major, which is taking risk. Entrepreneurs take risk. Now, in a corporate environment, that's the best place to start practicing taking risk, such as raising your hand in meetings to say certain things, or reaching out to people you think wouldn't even give you the time of day. Let's say a VP that you're really fond of, and you want to ask them to mentor you. Someone in the C-suite that you would love to hang out with. Those are taking risks because you're afraid of rejection, or you're afraid of how those people might respond because of your level. You need to practice that while you're in corporate, because if you want to be an entrepreneur and everything is taking risk, your business is one giant risk, right? Until you get to that corporate level, even at that level, it's still a major risk. Entrepreneurs take risks. So when you have vision, you can't be afraid to make that vision come to reality. And if you want that vision to come to reality, you got to take risk. Man, if I had this mindset while I was in corporate, oh my goodness, I would have done so many more things. But I took risk while I was in corporate. I made an AI back in 2018, way before they were popular. I had no idea how important automation was going to be. And I had to fight tooth and nail for that thing. I had to do so much, play so many different corporate politics, meet so many different partners, have meetings, and invite a ton of organizations just to get it approved. And I didn't know they were going to show up. I scheduled this call. I don't know if anyone's going to show up. I still don't know if anyone's going to chat. I don't know if people are going to watch the recap. I don't know if people are going to view these lessons. That's taking risk. But when you take those risks, you have to make sure that you give it your all, because when you give it your all, it'll pay off. And if you don't believe that, that's why you should stay and practice those things in corporate when you have a security blanket, when you have that comfortability. Corporate is like your paid college. You pay for college to learn, now you're in college too, and they're paying you to learn. If you think of it that way, don't be afraid to take risks. Man, that accountability factor is major. So I use this picture, unironically, but I use this picture just to kind of show you that it's you versus you. We're talking about taking risks, and when you take risks, you need to hold yourself accountable. It's you versus you. At the same time, it's good to have a coach. It's good to have a support system. It's good to have people around you that are going to support you and let you know, hey, I believe in your dream, but what are you doing about this thing? What are you doing about that thing? One thing that was extremely important for me was to get a coach, was to get a team, was to have friends that I could confide in, family I can confide in, because when you do that, you start to automatically have other people hold you accountable for your words, for your actions, and you're also holding yourself accountable, making sure that you commit to those things. I just came back from a meeting with a company called Community. We were discussing how to impact the youth more. And I'm on the way back from that meeting. This was less than 2 hours ago, thinking in my head, like, man, I'm so tired, man. I get up very early in the morning. I wasn't completely finished with this deck, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. But no, that accountability factor is real. If you say you're gonna do something, you gotta hold yourself accountable, and it don't matter who shows up. If I'm having a meeting and it's live, and I walk in there and it's one person in there, I'm gonna give the same exact performance. If it's one person, whether if it was 100 people. That's that accountability. That's that picture. You owe you. If you are waiting for the right opportunity, you are only holding yourself back. So if you're in corporate and you got that security blanket, and in corporate is a great place to learn, because who's holding you accountable? Your managers. If you are providing for your family, obviously your family is holding you accountable. Get that check every 2 weeks, not get fired. But how much are you holding you accountable? How much are you saying, yo, I don't need anyone to tell me to do something. I'm going to be proactive and not reactive at all. If you're not doing that, then that's a great place to start practicing. Being proactive. Being proactive. That accountability factor is real. And how you do that is have a routine. Oh my goodness. I used to waste so much time when I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. I didn't even think about it. I was wasting so much time. Like I said, I work remotely. I had to be up at 9 for my job. I'm waking up about 9, 10. My first meeting ain't till 10 a.m. I'm waking up 9, 10, taking a shower, making breakfast, going to that meeting, and then catching up on YouTube to my next meeting, do my work in 3-4 hours, and that's it. I'm KOing for the rest of the day. I'm not doing anything. How much time do y'all think I was losing? Anything you mismanage, you will lose. I was losing so much time, and I wasn't holding myself accountable. I didn't have a routine. I got another book I will plug for y'all. Let's see. It's called Grit by Angela Duckworth. Grit by Angela Duckworth. And in this book, she discusses how she interviews several CEOs and entrepreneurs, several successful people, and I think majority of them, if not all of them, had a routine. A routine is so important. I'll give you mine just to describe my day-to-day, and I'll tell you how I make sure I keep myself accountable for that. I'm up every single day at 5 a.m., if not earlier. Sometimes I wake up earlier than my alarm clock. I immediately head to the gym. I already have my stuff picked out, so it's not wasting too much time in the morning. I immediately head to the gym. As I'm heading to the gym, I'll listen to the daily audio Bible. That is keeping me spiritually ready for my day, and it's keeping me focused on the main thing. Once I get to the gym, I do the exact same workout for that month. I'll create a workout for the month. So it's the month of October. What I'm doing is immediately running a mile. It takes me about 6 minutes. I'll immediately run a mile, 6 to 8 minutes, and then I'll walk five minutes right after. It's obviously a lot easier on the treadmill, just to make sure you're staying the same pace. Once I get off that treadmill, I'm going down to the basketball court. I'm doing the exact same workout. I shoot 25 shots from 5 spots around the court. I do this crab walk dribbling all the way around the court. I do, like, I don't know what you would call the next dribble drill I would do. I run around the court, immediately go shoot my free throws, do the exact same dribble drill, immediately go shoot 3-pointers. Then I shoot from the white line, which is further from the 3-point line, and I go upstairs and I lift. and then I get in the sauna, and I do that every single morning. The first time I did that, immediately I wanted to quit. I was like, nope, I don't even know why I agreed to this. No one has to watch me do it. But we talking about holding yourself accountable, so I made that a part of my routine. I made myself do that every single morning until it became natural. So now I start my day with those two things, spiritual and physical. As soon as I get back to my office here, I start doing the mental stuff and I start prepping for the business. I'll do physical work if needed, and then I always give myself a cutoff period. So 6 p.m., 7 p.m., I'm making sure I am relaxing. I'm focusing on my wife. I'm focusing on my mother, my family. I'm focusing on my friends if I have time. And then I get up and I start over and do the exact same thing. So boom, spiritual, physical, mental. I do all of that and I have that in my routine. And I'm so focused on my routine that even when the days I'm off and I don't do anything, I'm like, I feel terrible. It's almost like, man, I feel so unproductive because I'm just being free. I'm not sticking to a routine. I've now been engraved in thinking that way. You can easily have a routine in corporate. Most of your time is already planned for you. So now if you plan for some things for self-development or for your family or for yourself, I do set some time to myself and it's just me. I'm telling you, if you start sticking to that routine, your mentality, your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being will be so much better. And I was talking about spiritual, and let me tell you why a lot of entrepreneurs have this. Any book that I read, a lot of entrepreneurs talk about this. Faith matters. And if you're not spiritual like me, regardless of what you do, if you start your own business, you're taking a leap of faith. I love this movie. Where we at? I love this movie, Into the Spideyverse. If that's the, is this one the Spideyverse or is this one the, I forget the name of the two. Both of them are great and both of them are hilarious. But Peter Parker was talking to Miles Monroe. And he was telling him, he was like, listen, man, you're not ready for this. You're not built for this. And Miles was just like, yo, how would I know when I'm ready? And he told him straight up, it requires a leap of faith. Once you're ready to take that leap, then you know that you're ready. If you're not at that point, it's okay. This is why you're in corporate. This is why you're building up the strategies that you need, the lessons that you need, the concepts that you need. If you're listening to this call, whether live or in the recording, you are focused on building yourself and you are building up that faith, and there's nothing wrong with that. But faith matters, because if you don't believe in yourself, why are you taking the leap at all? You already know you're going to crash. You could be like me, and I believe in God, and when I take the leap, I feel comfortable because I feel like I'm doing the right thing. If you don't feel comfortable, if you don't believe you're not doing the right thing, you're not going to take that leap. That's straight up. But your faith matters. And a lot of books that I've read, a lot of those people are focused on making sure that they're holding true to something. Corporate hurt me, at least, because I did not have to practice building faith. I was chilling. Everything was fine. Everything was paid for. I had insurance. What was the point of me practicing it? There was no risk being taken for me to want to build that faith. But now that I am building, I know that faith matters. And when you take that leap, whether in yourself, whether in your beliefs, whether you take a leap of faith for your family, for your friends, wherever the case is, for your community, you're going to find out real quick, oh, that thing matters 100%. 100%. And I'm in with something funny. Oh, it's only 30 minutes. This doesn't take long at all. I'm in with something funny. At least I think it's funny. If you watch Suits, then you know this character, Louis Litt. And there was one episode where he was talking to his who was he speaking to? He was speaking to one of his associates. And I don't know what she mentioned, but she said something about this not being high school. And Louis Litt said, life is high school. Listen, that's real. That's real. You think just because you graduate, people not going to gossip anymore after you leave? People not going to bully anymore after you leave? People not going to click up? People not going to, look for the most popular people? Not going to ignore the quote-unquote nerds or corny people, the unpopular people? Your life is high school. Don't think you're not playing the game just because you graduate. You got to keep that same mentality that there's a lot of people that are not focused out here. There are a lot of people who are focused on their own well-being or wanting to be popular or wanting to click up. But if you listen to this and you clicked on this title, How to Build an Entrepreneur Mindset in Corporate, then you're not thinking like a high schooler. And there's a lot of people that are consistently thinking the exact same way, partying the exact every single weekend, thinking about getting the brand new items, the brand new iPhone, the brand new cars, the brand new clothes, just to be popular, just to fit in. That's some high school stuff. If you're an entrepreneur or if you're trying to build your entrepreneurial mindset, you got to let that go quick. We ain't got time to play games out here. Consider this. You're trying to be a father for your family. Do you have time to be popular, or do you got time to make sure that your family's taken care of? You trying to be the best mother for your family. A lot of the times, mothers, especially out of mother, your kids are your main concern. If your main concern is also what people think, you still playing high school games. And if you listen to this, I don't believe that's your mentality, especially if you're trying to build an entrepreneurial mindset. You gotta step up. You gotta step up. Life is high school. Don't think people are not playing games out here. Straight up. Y'all better watch Suits. There's some good gems in there. Don't play. I need some promotion for Suits, but there's some good gems in there, man. Don't play. Life is high school. Don't play. Lastly is the last quote that I also found from the author that I'm going to link in one of the recaps. But employees think without starting. Entrepreneurs start without thinking. Now, if you have a mentality of, oh, that's so dumb, so entrepreneurs just do things without thinking, that's why faith matters. And it's not starting without thinking. The best way to start is to start. And a lot of employees just think about starting. Like, man, you know what I would do? I got this big dream, that big dream, this big dream. But because they're so comfortable and because life is high school, people in corporate care about what you think, care about who you're doing, care about who you're talking to. People start believing that their vision, other people's vision, is their vision. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Employees think without starting. They're thinking about what everyone else is doing. Entrepreneurs start. I'm going to go out there and make it. I'm going to go out there and do it without thinking. And once they get into the scenario, they're learning, they're practicing, they're getting better. They're figuring out, how on earth can I make this thing happen? They have vision. They take risk. They care about their time. They care about their money. They care about their reputation. They care about their faith. And they understand that people out here don't care about any of those things because life is high school. This ain't no game out here. Y'all better stop listening to some of these people who aren't focused. That's straight up. So I'm gonna have to do a few parts for this because I had a ton of different scenarios and concepts, but I thought this was a good first start, a good way to wrap our heads around this because this is not a concept to play with. Entrepreneurial is the next big thing. So if you want to build those entrepreneurial mindsets, I'm not here to play with you. I'm not here to tell you that life is easy, to play games. No, you got to focus on all those things that I said. And if you can't wrap your head around those things, you can look for a different coach. You can look for a different mentor. They'll probably tell you the same thing. I'm going to just keep it real with you. Life is high school out here. That's straight up. Y'all can keep up with us on different social media platforms, LinkedIn, Pitch Play Code, TikTok, Facebook. Obviously here on Twitch if you're listening, Instagram, YouTube. I am going to, and this is our very first intern. I'm not changing him from our templates. My Chief Creative Officer, Kelly Rose Kane, might not appreciate that, but he's our first intern, so I'm gonna have him at something. I'm gonna put these up on our different platforms. Follow us on these different things if you enjoy. More than anything, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you for listening. I'm going to continue to do more of these.
Are you ready to become a career tycoon? Let's level up your career and show you how you can go from this to this. We designed our course, Career Tycoon, to be the ultimate model for college and university students, as well as working professionals. Unlock the power of your career by taking an adventure through career building levels. You'll acquire skills that can help you master the workforce. Unlock treasure and even see real-life sessions with our other pitch players as they unlock their potential. All this and so much more. Are you ready? Let's play.